This is Valley News Live at 10.
Thanks for joining us here on Valley News Live at 10. Outside, the snow has stopped, at least for now.
But after a day of near impossible travel, we are gearing up for more snow soon. We'll have a look at your forecast in just a couple minutes. But first, let's go to Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor to look at the road cleanup efforts this evening. Nishay.
Stacy and Justin, I will say the wind has picked up since earlier this evening now that we're out here at the 10 o'clock hour. But you're right, the snow has stopped so far, but it stopped long enough for city plow drivers to get out on these roads and spend more time cleaning them up. Now, Public Works officials say that plow drivers typically work in 2 shifts to help cover the changing weather conditions. But some roads get more priority over others. And with this particular storm, it may take even longer for your neighborhood to get cleared. City plow drivers typically start with main roads that tend to have the most traffic and are used by emergency services. And the smaller streets that connect neighborhoods come second. But Public Works officials say the goal is always to get the job done.
This is an extended storm with lots of wind, so the plan can always change, but we do want to get into the neighborhoods and get them cleared up.
Now, as I mentioned, the wind has picked up, so their plans may be changing. Who knows? But Public Works officials say if the winds get stronger and the snow picks up, they'll be forced to move out of those neighborhoods and head back to those primary roads. In Fargo, Nishay Taylor, Valley News Live.
All right, thanks, Nishay. And
yeah, let's take a quick look at road maps. Now they've been changing all night in North Dakota. No travel advised in much of our viewing area. Right now, I-29 remains closed from Fargo to the South Dakota border. I-94 is closed from Fargo to Jamestown. Over in Minnesota, roads seem to have improved throughout the evening. However, many are still partially or completely snow covered, as seen here in pink. Freezing temperatures are an added risk for anyone who gets stuck or stranded.
all right, as for what Mother Nature has in store for us the rest of tonight and tomorrow, let's go over now to First Alert Storm Team meteorologist Nathan Hopper. Nathan.
Yeah, thanks, Justin and Stacy. This First Alert weather day today for travel impacts. Man, it was a doozy to say the least. That wind made things just ridiculous out there. And we've got another First Alert weather day for tonight into Tuesday. So now focusing on Tuesday, but the wind will continue all night long, and so we expect travel troubles for us in the overnight hours here as well. But of course, want to give you some updated snowfall reports. I've taken off some of the reports that we got early this morning before that wind really did pick up in some of these spots, so it was tough to get a good spread of accurate measurements across the region. But here's some of the reports we've gotten so far. Of course, the Breckenridge and Hankinson area, both over 9 inches measured there. Battle Lake, we had a viewer who took a lot of measurements around their property and took the average of them and found 8 inches there in Battle Lake. Ellendale around that 8 inches as well. Here in Valley News Live, South Fargo, just off University Drive on I-94, we did the same thing, took some measurements around the parking lot and got 5 inches of that measurement here in South Fargo. But here's how things look now. We've got really that snow winding down, still seeing some snowfall though off toward the south near the Sisseton area. Blizzard warning does continue in this area for the next few hours, but for the rest of us, a winter storm warning continues through the day tomorrow. And of course, this area here in Oaks is one of the areas we've seen all day long with just ridiculously low visibility, so near zero still out there. So again, it's getting late in the night, but if you folks at home can stay home, please do so. If you do have to leave, give yourself plenty of time to get to where you're going. Have that emergency kit in your car. But of course, Justin, Stacy, more wind and snow on the docket for tomorrow. So we'll break down that forecast in a few minutes.
All right. Thanks, Nathan.
And with the wild weather, it's a good idea to keep that VNL weather app handy for forecasts right at your fingertips. You can download and use it for free. Just search VNL weather in the App Store today.
Today's blizzard forced many with flight plans to stay back, including one American Airlines flight out of Fargo where passengers had to exit the plane in the cold and snow due to not only mechanical issues with that plane, but also a broken jet bridge. All of this happening after sitting on the runway for more than 4 hours.
Is it inconvenient? 100%. But it all comes down to perspective. I met some great people on the plane. We laughed. And with COVID, we haven't had the opportunity to laugh, let alone with strangers, because the announcement would go off. They're like, okay, here we go again.
Russia there says she has been able to rebook that flight, but not until next week.
New information tonight on a chain reaction crash involving 14 vehicles on I-94 this morning. This is some drone video from overhead. We are learning this crash involved 8 personal vehicles and 6 semi-trucks. Highway Patrol officials say it started when one of the vehicles rear-ended a semi. Took crews about 5 hours to clean up the whole thing. 6 people were taken to a Sanford hospital, including a 69-year-old woman from Castleton with serious injuries. Again, officials say if you don't have to travel, they urge you to stay off the roads tonight. A Mayville man was hurt after crashing his Cadillac into a snowplow this afternoon. Highway Patrol says that happened just south of Buxton, northbound on I-29 near mile marker 114. Deputies say the plow was heading north, plowing snow when it was rear-ended by 25-year-old Lance Johnson. Highway Patrol says Johnson suffered minor injuries, though charges are pending.
Also new tonight, we're learning of a crash involving a semi and a train earlier today. BNSF tells us the train struck a semi-truck just after 12:30 this afternoon. That happened at the 57th Avenue Northeast crossing in Leeds, North Dakota. There were no injuries to the train crew. They say that incident under investigation. Power is back on tonight in South Fargo. Nearly 3,300 Cass County Electric members south of 32nd Avenue South in neighborhoods on either side of I-29 were without power earlier this evening, some for nearly 2 hours. Cass County Electric says the cause was determined to be equipment failure.
Tonight, President Biden signed an executive order prohibiting new investment, trade, and financing in 2 breakaway regions of Ukraine, coming after Russian President Vladimir Putin declared those 2 regions independent states and moved additional troops into them.
The latest move in what's becoming more and more likely to be a full invasion of Ukraine. Keir Simmons has the latest from Moscow.
With Russian troops surrounding Ukraine, tonight President Putin speaking without notes for almost an hour on national television, uncompromising, capping a day he clearly choreographed, holding court as advisors on his Security Council dismissed U.S. allegations that Russia will attack Ukraine as war propaganda, urging him to recognize pro-Russian breakaway regions Donetsk and Luhansk as independent territory, which he did late tonight, the stage management even extending to a fireworks display minutes later in Donetsk. Those breakaway regions inside Ukraine are seen as a powder keg. Located along the Russian border, over 3 million people live there. They speak Russian and hundreds of thousands already hold Russian passports. Russian state television airing a tsunami of propaganda, at times sounding like conflict has already begun. But on the streets of Moscow, Russian people we spoke to still hoping to avoid war. Do you think there'll be a war in Ukraine?
I love Russia. I love Ukraine, peace of peace.
You want peace?
Yes.
I think it is not in the interest of Russia, and it is not in the interest of USA.
Meanwhile, tonight, Ukraine's leader addressed his country at roughly 2 a.m. their time to say they are not afraid and that his goal is peace.
Still ahead tonight, predatory pricing. A look at one reason you may be paying more for your next vehicle.
And there were some folks that were able to get out and enjoy some of the snowfall we got today. Thanks, Bobby, for sharing these photos of the snowdrift helper out there in the Eldridge, North Dakota area. Definitely getting some work done there on the driveway. And of course, you can always upload your photos to ValleyNewsLive.com. But for tomorrow, another First Alert weather day with that wind and more snow. Of your full forecast next.